cave. Dibs on hiding under the rug.
Okay, everyone. Are we pushing through and trying to make it back to the village? Or, what's the status of brute forcing absent magic? That's a place they probably can't follow us.
I mean, if we can get it working, then that might be a good idea. Do you have any idea how?
Yeah, you think you could do it, teacher?
You can't be serious.
Well, you did it when there was no pressure. Doing it under pressure should be easy.
Oh.
Fine.
I don't think we have much of a choice.
I moved over to the desk with determination and vigor, snatched up an inkwell and a paint and a calligraphy brush. It seemed that he was interested in trying to dabble in the finer arts. It was relatively dusty. He clearly had given up the hobby.
So, what do you need to do? Do you have an idea?
Basically, we're going to do something similar to before, but rather than pushing air, we're going to push stone.
Oh. I'm not the most versed, but isn't that going to require a lot of power?
Well, think of it this way. If you push a reasonable amount of force in a smaller space, the amount of pressure behind it is higher.
Right, so you're just going to try to push the painting in.
Yeah.
Okay.
A hole that's going to be as large as us. It's going to be obvious, but, well, maybe one of you can go and find a tapestry or a painting or something to put behind it.
I stopped, thinking for a moment, and then kind of wondering, a painting, huh?
Same thought.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it looked pretty big, but I mean, we can just... With us leaving, it was left to the three in there to get the process going. All right, so what do you need me to draw? I've done a lot of writing. I've got a quick hand.
Okay. There is going to be a number of sigils. I pulled open one of the books from the shelf, found a blank page at the back, and then scribbled a number of sigils in order. You're going to draw these within the circle that I will draw first.
Okay, gotcha. So just get to that and we'll get to it. Arcat, can you make sure nothing bad happens around us?
Yeah, I guess I can watch the door for any, dolls.
Thank you, sweetheart.
I pull out my bow and keep it trained on the door.
There's a sudden bursting sound, something breaking and stopping, and then another push. Behind Arcot, a hatch that had a chair slightly pushed over it was trying to open. A voice on the other side trying to break on through and speak, but muffled by the hatch.
Wait, what am I doing? Hold on. I grab the heaviest books I can find and start piling it on top of the hatch.
Arcot began to shove books on the hatch, moving and just shoving them more over as the hatch itself began to react more and more violently to the extra weight as it tried to push in. Meanwhile, we ran out to the portrait itself, looking across here. So we just need to be able to put something on top of it, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Let's try to...
Okay.
No, hang on. Let's just take the portrait out.
Oh, that's so much easier.
I used a knife to cut the edges of the painting portrait frame to be able to rip out the portrait of Varnus underneath. We began rolling it up into a nice little rug-like roll and began to hold it. Even the parchment's kind of heavy.
It's probably dripping with extremely expensive I wonder how much that's worth.
Hey now, don't damage that, please. That's very expensive.
Hey, could you help us for a second, Ganglion?
I have no choice. Sure thing. How do you need?
Help us carry this for a second.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. I'd love to. Wait, no, he's gonna... The acidic hands of Ganglion slowly started to eat into the material. You could see bits of paint chip off and roll and start to merge in with the slime, creating a bit of a muddy purplish brown type of liquid that started to pool inside his body. Wow! Who knew paint could sting so much when it touches your nerves?
Okay, stop that, Ganglion. You're doing a bad job.
No! I hate hearing that! That's my worst combination of words I can hear in my life! I watched him roil in pain for a moment. Well, I suppose it's time to go. I was just trying to investigate the loud noise that made our guest very angry.
Oh, no! Oh God, we gotta move!
We came back into the room, holding a huge portrait as we went with Ganglion. Hi there! What's going on?
I suppose you're going to see the demonstration of my learning of Intro to Aesthetics and Calligraphy 102.
Oh, that sounds incredible. Yes, I'd love to see what you learned.
I size up the painting, the glow of the absent physics radiation dancing across my skin and fur as I reel back and with one smooth motion draw a perfect circle in black ink on this otherwise very pretty painting.
The circle was drawn, and in that moment you could see a reaction as immediately the first response that could be pictured was the fact that the absent physics in the area began to start to react more strongly. It almost seemed to increase the potency of the effect as in that moment all of the roiling absent particles in the air pressed into the sign, and the force at which it expunged into the painting caused it to peel. You could see what the painting was in that moment. A multiple, almost just individual tiny thin layers of paper that had been stacked up to each other with the same image, translucent, each one formed and secured with extra strength in layers, and when one popped, the next one peeled off as well. This layered painting began to pull away until eventually through the wall an entire hole began to plunge into it bit by bit as it started to push and push. The force of the circle seemed to press down, breaking layers of painting, but other layers were still resistant. The further away it got from that center point, the more it seemed to peel back and start to push. It didn't seem like it would be enough in that moment. And then...
It hurts. The radiation. Editate the sigils, please.
Right! Etite moved up, and in that moment, moving and trading places, Etite pushed up and started tracing her hand across and making the sigils as she wrote in additional ones. Her face seemed to scrunch up as she perfectly mimicked the practice sigils, pressing them in, and in that moment the final bit was necessary as the painting began to twist and push in, as everything seemed to just sort of press and pile as the entire painting started to break. As that happened, finally, on the other side, a dim glow seemed to emerge. Wow, this stings. Okay, let's go! She popped in first, moving inside of the painting. All right, Yayo, I have an idea for the painting. Just move with me when we go inside.
Okay.
Excellent work, Etite. And, oh, my stars, is that Ganglion? Why is he here?
Hi there! I was helping to move the portrait that's in our hand. I see you're currently
You've done an excellent job. Now reward yourself by going outside and taking 5.
My favorite! Of course! I'll go outside! I'll take 5! Maybe 10 even! Ganglion left the premises as we all started to pile inside of this painting, all of us moving, pressing past the absent physics as best as we could. All right, Yayo, get ready with me.
Okay.
Strege, go in. Strege pressed in. Let's turn this portrait into a portrait, but I more in the portrait profile instead of portrait as a portrait of a full body portrait. But we're gonna put his face up. We're gonna put his face up, and it's gonna look like a close-up of his face instead of anything else, okay?
Oh, I get, yeah, no, I
Yes.
actually get
All
what I
right.
see what you were doing.
Okay, good. Let's go in 1, 2,
2, 3.
And leaving that in that moment, we placed up, almost perfectly, a portrait. It seemed to glow malevolently with that specific glow. As moments later, a form ducked and peeked inside of the room, stopping and looking around a little curiously at the area. Sort of peeked around, checked the room, moved on over, and it took a peek at this painting portrait. Oh. Always did look ugly. Could not see, but on the other side I could hear the voice. Hearing the sound of someone speaking. One interruption in a day is regular. 2 is annoying. 3 is unacceptable. Where is Ganglion? Ganglion! Show yourself! If I catch you slacking off, it'll be the end of you!
Oh no.
Over for him.
Oh
Just
god.
taking 5.
I was taking 5.
Oh, God. We'd stumbled through, looking across, and the inside it was very dark. The entire scattered area was barely lit in any way if it wasn't for the slight glow of the absent particles from behind that were agitated, and perhaps just the natural dark-sidedness of the Goloins. Would not quite understand where we were. Looking around in every direction, there were multiple supporting pillars placed through the room. A large library had been spread inside. You could see multiple shelves stacked high up to the roof, almost seeming to just run throughout the area. Unlit chandeliers sit laid with empty tables and an empty couch. By far the biggest room so far, and a lap of luxury had been before us. I noticed first that Etete had stepped up, as her face had gone from amusement to then sort of just awe for a moment. And then, wow, this is incredible. Was this here the whole time?
Wow. Okay, well, it's big. Certainly big.
Well, we have time to look around. We're hiding out for the moment.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for working so quickly to go and cover our tracks, but I don't know how long that's going to be lasting. I did hear her
Yeah.
on the other side of the room, and if she does find Ganglion's not going to lie.
No. Okay, well in that case, I stepped back for a moment, and very swiftly, I moved over and started dragging the clock over in this direction. I doubt this will do too much, but at the very least, we'll hear something get knocked over so she can't sneak up on us.
It's something.
Who knows? Maybe she'll get bored. All right.
I step over to the first shelf that I see, kind of taking out a random book and just cracking it open.
I gazed over. It seemed to be a book of some form of, just a layout of a history of some kind. A history of rock formations and otherwise. Not so special of a book, but it was surrounded by plenty of other geographic tomes that would be useful for conducting research. The purposes of this place was not for aesthetics. Every single line of book seemed to be placed with something that was important to know, remember, or use with other sort of research materials. This was, without a doubt, a library like the type you would find in a university. A university library buried beneath a mountain. Every book here was probably of great value and was acquired. Only someone of lavish wealth would be able to have something like this. Well, if it's full of books, then maybe we can get some more treasure here, huh?
It does seem to be better organized than the other room. Like there's actually a system to these books here, rather than being organized by size or color.
Right. For a moment, I thought to myself that this could be what I was looking for. A hidden library, off the ponderings from earlier, could have everything we needed. So I began looking around a bit more directly, gazing across the different books and looking with more fervor for anything, a sign of deeper research or acquired notes that he would held for himself. But I did not doubt for a moment that this Varnus would be very paranoid even of an inner sanctum like this. It had begun to be something to look for as we all started to pace across the walls, but a distraction popped up in that moment. Everyone's attention was drawn by Etete calling something out. Huh? Hey, stop, everyone. Hey, wait a moment. I recognize this.
What's the matter?
Hang on. It's up. It's high up. Can someone give me a
I can
hand?
give you a boost.
Can you... Okay. Etete climbed up on the back of Yayo and sort of maneuvered with her to try to get her way forward. And with that, she seemed to barely manage to pull a book out, which almost fell to the ground out of her grasp. Ah, damn it! Her leaning over ended up causing her to sort of fall off for a bit onto the book, but it didn't seem to stop her much at all, as she sort of pulled the book out, took a look at it. This is a journal. Like our journals. Look.
What?
She pulled it out.
A life book?
A life book. It's... She got up, going and sitting at the table, pulling out the chair for a moment as she sat down, and then placed it on, opening it up. And as she did, a number of pages were torn loose. The entire thing seemed to sprawl out as the entirety of it sort of peeled away. I was unfamiliar with the culture, but even I could tell with the distraught in her face that damaging a life book in this way was not an acceptable way to read it, as she seemed to grow dour at this. What was on that shelf? Can anyone else see any more books up there?
Arcat, climb up.
Yeah. I climb up the shelf, grabbing one of the books at the higher end.
It had seemed that perfectly organized in that section, a number of books from Goloins were organized by name. The entire section of the shelf seemed to be arranged for that purpose. I moved over to the side, pulling over, grabbing a chair out from beneath, and placed it down in front. And with that, Arcat began pulling books off, sort of moving off as a number of books were placed down on the desk. Grabbing them and helping arrange them around, I placed them down. And with that, even more books began to be moved and shifted around as almost an entire segment of the shelf was upended down directly onto this table, more books beginning to grow.
I was stunned watching them pull book after book, life book after life book, owned by Goloins, judging by the quality of the covers from generations ago. I would have been surprised to see a non-Goloin store any of our writing, even if ones that they managed to make friends with, but to have an entire community's worth of life books stored here, these should be with us.
Should? I'm just so curious. I didn't think Varnus prized our life books this much. Why are these ones set aside?
It feels like somebody robbed a tomb and kept them here.
I was caught a bit off guard. Spending some time, I had known how important these were, but I was almost perplexed by Itate's expression as well. Having first introduced her as some form of town drunkard, I saw the severity, and it seemed there was pain on her face, but was almost infinitesimal to the amount of focus she had as she pulled over the pages. She had taken no time. There was no time for doubt or fear or sadness or confusion, as immediately, whatever storytelling instinct she had, she pulled pages unnumbered and started placing them together, flipping through every individual piece of the book until she could find where they were originally formed, reading the ends of sentences until some made sense, making small markings with their fingernails, indenting onto the page, as she had eventually found the location of every single page on the book, and finally spoke again. Okay, this is all, it's all together. Arcat, give me the next book. She started to filter them, moving through, grabbing every individual piece, as eventually more books began to pile here.
Mm-hmm.
Yayo, take a seat with me. I want you to start looking through some of these other books. I know you have experience with reading through older Goloin language. I can hopefully have you help translate some of the elder books.
Well, look at you ordering me around.
Please just read.
Nah, it's a nice change. Right on it, boss.
Having taken one of the completed and reorganized books from Edite, I pulled out my needle and thread and began to re-sew its binding, keeping the pages in place. It's not traditional to bind books this way, but at least it would make sure that they weren't going to fall apart again.
Strege, Melanius, you're tall. Go look for more books.
Hey.
All right. I'd stepped off. Caught in that moment, I began looking around more, try to see if there was anything we could see. As I peeked around the corner, I did see a number of books. It seemed that there was one that was hanging slightly out from this section. Pulled it out, held it in my hand. What was in this section? I stared at the section itself as I noticed that this one was separated out. The section itself had a listing on it. The Mountain is what it said. But there was a subheading there. I haven't seen this word before. Strege, come here.
Okay.
Do you recognize this word? I haven't heard any of you spoke it before, but it does seem like it's Goloin.
I already know the word you're probably going to say.
What is it? What does it mean?
It's forbidden.
Why?
All I know is that it's forbidden.
I'm just curious because this book was separated out. I flipped open the page. The name seems to be of the holder, if I can read this right, is Thardic? I don't know why this tome was separated out, but it was in a separate section. If you can give this, then maybe if we just look around, we might be able to find other tomes that were separated for reasons into different categories. I think the ones we found before were just loose tomes of Goloins kept in one section, but anything of value to a specific topic might have been moved.
Okay.
So, here, I'll keep looking around. As Strege walked away, I had felt for him, felt for them. But even still, I remembered my own quest, my own purpose here. While I scanned every single wall for Goloin text to hopefully keep them busy, I did also look deeper to see if there was anything out of place, something that might, in some way, show a sign of a true fixation for the Lich. One place for which he might store his books, his own tomes, the notes of his own research. Okay, I think I've got a few. I'll take this new book as well. And we've got a couple now. Do you think we could... Sorry, I've been reading ahead. I was just thinking if I wasn't expecting these circumstances, but I think I have a story. If, well, if you're up for it. I'm apprehensive, but I'm also... I'm angry, I'm confused, but I'm kind of excited.
Well, storyteller, give us your best.
All right. Hey, Gartrinus. You've experienced Mendatat before, the reading of one style. How about I subject you and all of you around to a new type of style? Mendatat, one we haven't had in the village for a long, long time due to a lack of contributors. I'm going to give you all a journal. Here, Gartrinus, how about you take this new one?
Yes, I'll do so.
I think it's always of good nature to have a kindred spirit in their reader. It helps you read out their thoughts a bit more accurate. It seems like, let's see, I'm just going to make some snap judgments. Here you go, Strege, one for you. This is Katarip. It seems like he was some kind of, I don't know. All of the little details I've seen mentioned, it seems like he's kind of a leader type. I don't know if that's something you're comfortable reading, but, I mean, even I've kind of heard occasionally that name. I think Batakanatat mentioned him once. So, maybe give it a shot if you've got what it takes.
Okay.
And, Arcot. I was trying to find maybe a ranger, but I realized I don't think your position kind of existed in the past, so how about something different?
Sure.
I think, this person was named as Mother Kukentas. She was probably of some importance. I bet she was, like, had some sort of, duty to the village that would be somewhat equivalent in that time to maybe something you would do. Keeping people safe, guiding us. A mother and a ranger both have duties of guidance, after all.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
And yeah, well,
What's up?
gosh, I was excited to show this to you. I hope it's okay. It's your mom.
What?
It's this book. I found your mom's book.
What?
Yeah. I mean, I would assume Yayo Mela Yayo Yayo is yours. I mean, after all, there's one less Yayo.
That might not be, but I mean, it's one of my family line, probably.
I'm going to take a big guess that it is.
Yeah.
If you see Batakanatat as more of a mother in your life, I'm not one to judge. That's very cute.
Yeah, okay. Why am I the only one getting bullied here?
Consider it a little bit of payback.
I'm glad your spirits are lifted, at least.
All right. Are you all ready?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. The first set of Mendatat. I'm going to read out a thought, and I want you all to find it. So, let's begin.
They say it's been too long. It's so nice to see you. You're a good friend of mine. So long farewell at you. No, I can't believe, oh no, not words from thee, but said in facsimile, yearning for that distant we. So I'm searching for near eternity, but I don't know where I should be. Love of branch, no family tree, no friends I have to see. An unfriendly propensity is my natural state to take flight in perpetuity. And so echo back is only me, cut off from precious we.